4 things I know are true. The Ohio State Buckeyes are going to beat Michigan, and they still won't get the respect they deserve. Television should do the world a favor on Keyshawn. Do not give him the damn mic. Mike Myers is hysterical, but I prefer Halle Berry filling up the cat suits, and I'm not Max Kellerman.
Finally, some good news. It's Around the Horn, the show of competitive banter. Here's Tony Reale.
Welcome back to the show where I refuse to pencil on a beard. I don't even know what that means. We're talking fantasy football picks, Ole Miss versus LSU, and JFK's assassination conspiracy. All with our national panel, and here they are at the Los Angeles Times. It's Bill Plaschke. Hello, Bill. Thank you. At the Denver Post, it's Woody Page. Say something, Woody.
PIT, brother.
Nah, PTI, dog. Oh. At the Chicago Sun-Times, it's Jay Mariotti.
You don't think Holly would do something silly like, say, wear an Ohio State jersey today, do you?
Oh, let's just see. At the Boston Globe, Michael Holly looking like Mike Doss.
Defending our championship, baby. Defending our championship this year.
Didn't know you wrote for the Ohio State paper.
Journalist.
We are the show that scores the argument, and here's how it goes. I judge these guys on point of view, style, and information. Good answers get 2 points, great ones 3, and then I use this here mute button to penalize direct traffic. We eliminate guys so a one-on-one showdown determines the winner in the end. Get it? Got it? Good. Let's light this candle.
It's the first word.
And that first word is rivalry, as in the rivalry. Ohio State-Michigan turns 100, and the world has one less argument against Ohio State because previously unbeaten TCU got its heart broken Thursday night at Southern Miss. Now, all Ohio State has to do is win at Michigan, pray for a UCLA miracle over USC, hope Eli Manning picks LSU apart, and then the Buckeyes are on their way to the Sugar Bowl. Either that or put their trust in our BCS. Guys, will the Ohio State University 7-point underdogs pull off the upset in Ann Arbor? Around the horn, Bill Plaschke.
Not a chance. The most compelling stat in this game will be time of game 1:15. The game will be over in the middle of the second quarter. Michigan will come out passing. Ohio State's defense can't control Navarre in the passing game. Ohio State's offense, ranked 98th in the country, is football equivalent of Michael Jackson's mugshot. Once they get down, they're not going to be able to come back. It's over. The whole fraud is over with. No
Bill,
more.
Thank you for doing all that research this morning. None of it paid off because Ohio State's going to win. The Buckeyes are the team of destiny. Have you been paying any attention? It's not only luck, and that's all people talk about, but we're talking about a great kicking game and an outstanding defense that can score touchdowns itself. I think that if you were to look at the history of this, Bo knows Ohio State because he knows that Michigan is always losing to Ohio State.
Woody, this is the real Bo right here, and the real Bo knows that it's all over for the Buckeyes here. They're playing in the big house. Michigan has weapons galore. Navarre, he throws to Edwards. He throws to Breston. He's got Chris Perry in the backfield. Ohio State is living on borrowed time in this game. They can stop the run. They cannot stop the pass. And I'm telling you, you're going to have Michigan, which if it hadn't lost 2 games this year, would be playing probably.
But Jay, they did lose those 2 games. Go ahead, Michael.
I was going to say, if they hadn't lost 2 games this year. You know what we have here? This is what Mary J. Blige would call hateration. We got a lot of hateration going on here with Ohio State. Let me give you some numbers here. They are 3-0 against this year's top 25. USC has played 1 top 25 team all year. They're 10-1 against the top 25 the last 2 years. They lead the nation in rushing defense. The brilliance of Ohio State is Jim Tressel gets the game on his terms. If you can beat him by playing a slow-down offense and beating them with defense and special teams, great. If you can't,
Michael,
you got no chance.
Michael, it's hard for me to argue with such an objective journalist as your jersey-wearing self, but here's two stats. Navarre is 19-2 in the big house. And then the second stat is Ohio State is 2-1 on the road this year. They've only played 3 road games.
Okay, wait, you can throw stats at me. Here's the stats. 24-1 the last 2 seasons for Ohio State. Defend it, Holly.
It shouldn't even be a question here. Here's the stat for you. Jim Tressel has been on the job. He's never lost to Michigan. He went to Michigan his first year on the job when he had an inferior team to this one, and he beat them 26-20. Now, why wouldn't he be able to come back with a defending national champion and win that game?
The biggest stat.
All right, Mariotti, you get the last word. Go ahead.
Well, the biggest stat this year, 3 games, Ohio State, no offensive touchdowns. You can't even, if you do that tomorrow, this game is over.
Jay, I'm going to stop you right there. They're 3-0 in those 3 games. They haven't scored a defensive touchdown. That's the most telling stat of it all. If we learn anything about Michigan, it's that they've choked in big games before. Maybe they beat them in the past, but this year it's going to be Ohio State. Next topic. After being deactivated by Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Keyshawn Johnson has found a new home. This Sunday, the loudmouth receiver will be an in-studio guest analyst for one of the weekly NFL pregame shows, the one that rhymes with box. Johnson will play a prominent role and may be back for future appearances if all goes well. Guys, what do you think of the move from Keyshawn's perspective? Around the horn to Michael Holley.
You know what? I think it's a very good move. If you were fired, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. If you were fired, wouldn't you like the chance to audition for your next job on national television? That's essentially what he's doing right now. I don't think Keyshawn gets enough credit for his intelligence. He talks a lot, but he knows the nuances of football. That's why Bill Parcells liked him so much. He was always the first one on the team bus. He was always trying to work on his game. He's going to be able to come out here and show and give his side of the story to the rest of the NFL. I think
Michael,
it's a great move.
he has not shown an ounce of remorse yet. All this guy does is yap. This entire show is going to be about Keyshawn, Keyshawn, Keyshawn. You know what? He has dug himself such a hole. He might dig that hole on TV so far, he might not get another job in the NFL. He'd better be careful. There are 32 NFL GMs looking at this guy and saying, hey, dude, are you going to be well behaved? Are you going to respect our football team?
Once again, you don't understand it. If you can be on TV, why can't Keyshawn Johnson?
Oh, there we go.
The guy has nothing to do while he's been deactivated. Why not be on TV? And here's what's going to happen. People are going to find out that he's a genuinely good guy, that he's just got a loud mouth. Look what television has done for Deion Sanders.
If a loudmouth works anywhere, it works on TV. Tell him, Platt.
No. Keyshawn agreed. He has to be on TV. It should be on Monday Night Football with the Tampa Bay Bucks. He should have spent this week going back with his hat in his hand, trying to get this thing worked out. Michael, you said he's been fired. He's not been fired. He's still getting paid. He could have come back and said, listen, guys, I may have talked too much. Let me work this thing out. By doing this, he is doing exactly what the Bucks have accused him of doing. He's grandstanding. The Bucks are saying, yep, that figures.
All right, Holly, go ahead.
Plaschke, he lost his job. But this is my problem with Plaschke and Mariotti on this. We're taking John Gruden's side of the story. If Keyshawn were such a distraction, why wasn't he fined before this? Why wasn't he disciplined before this? Bill Parcells never had Keyshawn getting his face on the sideline. So Gruden has a role in this too, guys.
You're right, Mike. Maybe not even the biggest distraction on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Woody, quickly.
What's going to happen here? If he had sat at home and done nothing, that wouldn't have improved his image. Look what being on TV has done for Deion. He is now universally liked. Here was a guy that was very controversial. Same thing's going to happen for Keyshawn.
Look,
he's going to be
point,
liked.
Woody. Last word, Mariotti.
Keyshawn Johnson, one of the best college receivers are coming out like Larry Fitzgerald, Mike Williams, Roy Williams, Lee Evans. I'd rather have any of these kids than Keyshawn Johnson. He better be careful.
You're absolutely right. I think the biggest one, he makes probably the best analyst of all active players, maybe Strahan or Sapp. I'm interested in what he has to say, but he has to get away from Keyshawn first. Any last words, Mariotti? You're done.
I just told you, you don't need Keyshawn Johnson when stuck.
You should have said Rosebud or something like that. Buy or sell is next.
Coming up, America sleeps on the Bayou Bengals. Will Ole Miss put LSU's national title hopes to bed? Plus, T-Mac's rep is taking a beating. Between superstar and malcontent, what's the appropriate noun for the Horn?
Around the Horn, brought to you by Mach 3 Turbo from Gillette. It's the world's best shave.
Buy or sell?
It's buy or sell time, so let's keep it moving. First topic. Ole Miss, behind Heisman candidate Eli Manning, can clinch its first SEC West title by beating LSU Saturday in Oxford. The Tigers, who are ranked 4th in the current BCS poll, need a win to stay in the national title hunt. Buy or sell Ole Miss upsetting LSU on Saturday. Plaschke.
I'm selling this. There's a great quarterback in that game. His name is Matt Mock of LSU.
I agree.
Against the porous Ole Miss defense. LSU is 4-0 on the road. They'll be 5-0 on the road after Saturday.
Absolutely. Woody, go.
I'm buying. Eli's coming. Hide your heart, girls. Eli's coming.
No.
You got anything else? You're just going to sing a song for us. Oh, that's all you got. You're going to sing a song. Okay, Mariotti, go.
Is he done? Thank you.
Yes, he's done.
Yeah, you sell this, but not because of Matt Mock, because of the best defense in America, Plaschke. They're allowing 8.9 points a game. That's Nick Saban who put it together. He's going to the NFL. They will win the game.
All right, Holly, what do you say?
I'm gonna sell that as well, and Mariotti's absolutely right. Not only with Nick Saban and his great defense, but Nick Saban being a Bill Belichick disciple. We're talking about Belichick, a defensive genius in the NFL. You know, Saban is the Belichick of college football.
All right, fine. LSU is going to put up about 40 points on this Ole Miss team. They're going to win this game. Ole Miss defense not there with Eli Manning right now. Next topic. It's gone from just plain ugly to Michael Jackson mugshot ugly with the 1-11 Orlando Magic. Tracy McGrady verbally took issue with criticism from the media that he was selfish and lacked heart. T-Mac has an ally in Orlando Sentinel columnist Jerry Brewer, who writes today, quote, McGrady is not the skilled yet irresponsible punk detractors have portrayed him as. He's the heart of a franchise, a tag that most players his age would fear, end quote. Buy or sell McGrady as the bona fide NBA superstar. Woody.
Oh, I'm buying this big time because he averages 25 points on the court. Off the court, he's one of the nicest guys you can find. They're trying to devise zone defenses, and still he can score 50 points at will. If he just was surrounded by a little bit more talent, he would be considered a great player.
All right, Mariotti, go.
I'm buying. Just last spring we were asking, is he the best player in all the NBA? Now in November, is he a stiff? Give me a break. He needs help. Go get the guy help. He doesn't have Grant Hill around.
Wait, I mean, he's not a stiff. Right now, he's still second in the league in scoring. Go ahead, Ollie.
I was going to say, I'm going to sell this. I don't think he's a stiff. I don't think he's selfish. I don't think he lacks heart. But I do question his moving away from the role of being a star player. If he wants to be the man, he's not going to complain about depression and defenses keying on him.
Platsky, go ahead.
I'm going to sell this. He just hasn't stepped up enough. He hasn't yet to win a playoff series. Plus, his career averages before this year, 20.7 rebounds, 2 assists. That's his career averages before this season. He hasn't done it yet.
There's a short list. It's LeBron, it's Allen Iverson, and then comes Tracy McGrady of players who are, the team is totally built around them. He doesn't have another max player on the team, and that's a lot weighing on him. There is no player on his team that can back him up. Stick with Tracy McGrady for now. Get him some help. Next topic. The Dallas Morning News reports today that the Texas Rangers cannot find a trade partner willing to take on Alex Rodriguez in the 7 years left on that infamous contract. The paper also says that owner Tom Hicks has pledged his support of A-Rod's estranged manager Buck Showalter, with whom the superstar hasn't spoken to this offseason. Do you guys buy Alex Rodriguez outlasting Buck Showalter in Texas? Mariotti, go.
I'm selling that. First, get the wax out of your ears, Rally. I said what you just said, then you muted me. So it could be 5 points. 5 points right now.
I'm not taking anything from you. Quickly go. You're selling A-Rod. Go ahead.
A-Rod will be traded eventually because they've got to get rid of that salary, and somebody like the Red Sox will eventually get this done.
Holly, what do you say?
No, I'm going to buy this A-Rod staying. Let me ask you this. Would you buy an expensive house in a bad market? Absolutely not. This guy is going to stay because his contract is so terrible. And look, unless he renegotiates, he's going to be in Texas.
All right, go ahead, Platt.
Yeah, I'm buying this, even though A-Rod whines like Mariotti whines. That was disgraceful, Mariotti. Anyway, I'm buying
Mariotti is still talking. Go ahead, Platt.
I'm buying this because there's a manager in waiting in the Ranger dugout named Earl Hershiser.
Okay, Woody Page, what do you say?
I'm buying. A-Rod is a great player. Showalter's a lousy manager. He was bad on television, too. He failed in New York. He failed in Arizona.
Okay, he didn't fail in New York, Woody. I'll stop you right there. He put the team together that was going to win a World Series. But here's an important note. In New York and in Arizona, he leaves. What happens? They win a World Series. Texas should be happy for him to leave. There we go. Next topic. New Jersey Nets big men Alonzo Mourning and Kenyon Martin almost came to blows at practice Thursday afternoon. Mourning got on Martin about his tender ankle, and then the young buck rode the old guy about his damaged kidneys. Can't do that. Buy or sell Kenyon Martin, period. Holly, go ahead.
Well, I'm going to buy him as a complimentary player. He can run and block shots and play defense, but he's not a franchise player, has not played like the #1 pick in the draft, which he was.
But that was a very weak draft. Latsky, go ahead.
Yeah, that was a very weak buy, Michael. I'm selling this. Last year, Game 6, NBA Finals, 3 for 23. Kenyon Martin, case closed.
Woody Page, go.
I'm selling. He comes up small when he needs to be big, and Mourning has proven his heart by coming back from the kidney problem.
That's absolutely true. Mariotti, come on, get the point.
He's counterproductive because he's an excellent defensive player and rebounder, but he whines a lot. I am the A-Rod of the show, and where is Max Kellerman? Max, please come back.
Mariotti, come on, you know how things work here. All energy. Mariotti, last words, please. Go out good.
Kenyon Martin is, in my opinion, an underachiever.
You're still talking here. You want Max back on the show. Wait till Monday. Right now, only one Italian here. Out of bounds is next.
Coming up, sports fans have all kinds of fantasies. Is Dante Culpepper this weekend's steamiest pair? Oh, get your mind out of the gutter. Plus, will Lubbock, Texas be the Sooners' toughest exit on their road to the BCS crown? to the Horn. It's around the horn, where after 2 rounds, here's how they stand. Michael Holly has 24, Bill Plaschke has 26, Woody Page has 24, and if looks could kill, Mariotti would have eliminated Stat Boy. And now, it's out of bounds!
Did you see how upset he was? It's out of bounds, guys, where it's all inbounds. First topic. Because Hollywood hasn't had an original idea since Dr. Seuss was in his prime, the Direct Machine gives us Mike Myers as the Cat in the Hat, which opens today. Early reviews are not good, but the Around the Horn producers tell me that can work for you in the end. Guys, where does Mike Myers rank on your funny guy list? Bill Plaschke, go ahead.
This morning at breakfast, I asked my 14-year-old daughter, who's a movie expert, as all 14-year-olds are, and I said, what do you think about the movie? She said, bad movie. He's not funny. I don't want to see it. If that's the word among kids today, Mike Myers has become a one-trick pony. Everything he says sounds like Austin Powers now. He hasn't changed his act at all. He's gotten too big. He's forgotten what his...
What is he speaking with a British accent? I don't know about that. Woody, go ahead.
Bill, your daughter thinks you're funny, so we can discount that. He is the funniest guy going. He is the funniest guy in the history of Canada. Let's talk about it. The 3 Austin Powers movies, he did a great job. He was overlooked in the movie Mystery Alaska.
Yes,
He provided the voice in Shrek that was outstanding. And yes, one movie does not a career make. This may not be any good, but Mike Myers from Wayne's World on Saturday Night Live always has been a funny character.
Michael Holly, go ahead.
You asked, where does he rank on your list? Now, I'm going to say he's in the others receiving votes category, right along with Cal, which beat USC, by the way.
Please stick to the topic. Mike Myers, go.
But no, I'd say lots of guys are funnier, though. I'd say Dave Chappelle's funnier. I'd say Jamie Foxx is funnier. Even Will Ferrell, Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, for that matter. I just don't think he's that funny.
Okay, Plaschke?
Yeah, he may be the funniest guy in Wisconsin, which beat Ohio State. But he's not but he's not the funniest guy in Canada. John Candy came from Canada. He's by far the funniest guy from Canada.
John Candy is dead.
That's right,
He's
Woody.
the funniest alive comedian in Canada.
I think this is a very underrated movie by Mike Myers is So I Married an Ex-Murderer. Those scenes with his father when they're at the table, hysterical.
Tell him,
Mike
Tony.
Myers, absolutely. Next
Michigan
topic.
by 2 touchdowns.
Come on there. Next topic. Tomorrow marks the 40th anniversary of the Kennedy assassination. Last night, ABC News presented an assault on conspiracy theorists with computer-generated evidence that a single bullet fired by Lee Harvey Oswald could have, in fact, killed the president. Guys, what's your theory on the Kennedy assassination? Everybody's got one. Woody, go ahead.
In all seriousness, I was a senior in high school when it occurred, and we sat in the car and listened to all the horrid details and started crying. I have been to the Texas Book Depository twice because I believed when I was a kid that it was a conspiracy. When I sat up there 2 years ago during the NHL playoffs and could see exactly what happened, it was obvious to me that a crack shot, and he could pull this off. Forget about the conspiracy. It was a lone gunman.
Okay, go ahead. Holly?
Well, Woody, since I wasn't alive at the time, I'm going to go with the zeitgeist, the spirit of the times. And at the time, 52% of the Americans thought it was a conspiracy, and right now, 75% of people still think it was a conspiracy because it's going to take a sharpshooter to do that kind of damage, and Oswald was not that.
If you watched the ABC special last night, they told you he's a crack shot when he was in the military. He was a sharpshooter. Go ahead, Plaschke.
You know, Woody, it's the first I've heard. I didn't know the NHL playoffs were held at the Book Depository. That would have been a great. I don't know how I missed that. No, I think it was just a wacko shooter who killed a guy and then was shot by another wacko shooter. I think America, because the Kennedys have been so romanticized.
All right, go ahead. But explain Jack Ruby. Holly, explain the Jack Ruby.
Well, he was a drunk bar owner who loved the Kennedys, and he went down and...
Oh, you know what? No. I want to hear what Holly has to say with this. You're an old man, you know.
That's why I think it's a conspiracy. No one has been able to explain the presence of Ruby. No one has been able to explain this live shooting on television. It was all very murky at the time, and that's why people think it's a conspiracy. I don't blame them.
Woody just explained it.
Okay, Plaschke, sorry for a second. You know what the problem is here? My biggest problem with this is that people born after the event only know what they saw in the Oliver Stone movie. Kids, read books, watch documentaries, and let's pray that nothing like that ever happens again. Plaschke, you got any last words?
No.
Your history anyway. Showdown is next.
Coming up, if Jay-Z buys the Nets, will he make them wear Beyonce-style shorts? You know, the ones that don't come so close to the ground. To the Horn!
Around the Horn. Brought to you by 1010-987. Give it a try.
Showdown time, but first, oh disembodied voice.
Yes, Tony.
What's good today?
Not the green onions at Chi-Chi's. Brian Cashman says Vlad Guerrero is out of the Yankees' price range, if you believe that. And Max's mother called. She wants to know if your folks would consider a one-on-one trade. Kellerman's apparently doing a salary dump right now. You available?
No trade clause in this guy's contract. First topic, guys. Top-ranked Oklahoma will try to finish their regular season undefeated when they take on Texas Tech on Saturday. The Red Raiders are led by B.J. Simmons and his 5 million passing yards, while the Sooners, they're just loaded. Will the Sooners cover their 19-point spread? 15 seconds each. Woody, go.
No, Simmons is going for the all-time NCAA record. I've watched Texas Tech this year, and I'll tell you, they can score, and they will score as many as 50 points. They'll end up losing 65-50, but they'll stay within 19 points because they have a great offense.
What are you wrong? They got a lot of things going against them. They don't have my boy Cliff Kingsbury there anymore. You know, Oklahoma hasn't given up a touchdown in 3 games, and they average 47.6 points per game. So look, and also, you know what? Texas Tech is just an average team in the Big 12. This is all a bad combination for Texas Tech.
That Oklahoma defense plays with a lot of pride. They don't let up touchdowns in games that are up 60, 70 points. That being said, B.J. Simmons has put up points, yards, touchdowns all season long, and he's going to continue to do it against Oklahoma. I'm siding with you, Woodrow. Next topic. The Minnesota Vikings take on the hapless Lions Sunday in the Metrodome. Our friends Hector and Victor, who can be seen on the ESPN.com fantasy page, and usually unreliable, ranked Vikings QB Dante Culpepper as the best fantasy play this weekend. Are Hector and Victor correct? 15 seconds each on Dante Culpepper. Holly, go.
Oh, it's not Culpepper. I'll tell you the best fantasy player this weekend is John Kitna. He's going against the poorest San Diego Chargers defense. They rebuilt their secondary last year, and it's a disgrace. Rodney Harrison's here in New England doing great work, and who does San Diego have? Plus, we saw last week, Cincinnati has some pretty good receivers.
Michael, you're in the area, but let me tell you who it will be. Clinton Portis, with 101 yards, becomes only the 3rd player to have back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in his first 2, and I'm telling you what, he's going to have 3 or 4 touchdowns against that Chicago Bears defense.
Listen to you guys talking some stats there. I'm going to go with Priest Holmes as always numero uno in fantasy. Michael, stick your hands down. You're not going to get this. It's going to be Woody. That's all she wrote. Woody, let's hear it. 15 seconds of yours. Go.
During this football season, I've been from Florida State to Kansas State to last weekend, Colorado School of Mines. You guys are great. Thanks for the support. Send your college memorabilia, the cups, to Woody Page, and I'll get it on the air. The Denver Post, 1560 Broadway, Denver.
That's not the only thing you're going to get, I'm sure. A little bit of hate mail, too, right? That's going to do it, folks. We're on a 71.5-hour break. See you Monday when Max makes his triumphant return around the Horn.
Thank God.
What is that?
Thank
Come on,
God.
Mariotti.
The Colorado School of Mines. Why did you stay there?
More points for Mariotti so he doesn't hurt.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, would you put on makeup for your mug shot?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. As you know, it depends on who my cellmate's going to be.
Ugh.
Of course, I would ask for a private room if I could get it. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Wilbon and I discuss Michael's mugshot, Alonso's kidney, and finally, something worth talking about from the NHL. We start in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where the sound you just heard was the Nets going boom. At practice yesterday, Alonso Mourning nearly came to blows with Kenyon Martin after Richard Jefferson and Kenyon Martin were laughing at Alonso, and Alonso fired back at the often injured Martin saying, quote, "You can't be a leader in the trainer's room crying, my ankle, unquote." Wilbon, that was bad enough, but here's something worse. Kenyon Martin responded to Mourning by whimpering, "Oh, my kidney, my kidney."
Oh, no.
And in short order, Alonso had to be restrained. Wilbon, a little dissension, huh?
Well, look, I'm not going to pretend I don't have a side here. You know where I'm going with
Your
this. I'm
side is
standing
with Alonso.
with Alonso Mourning.
That's right.
Who, as you always say, is about the greatest teammate you could ever have, right?
I would think that to play with Alonso Mourning meant you were playing with a guy who gave you every drop he
All
had.
the time. Here's a problem with Kenyon Martin, who is a really good player. He took out Keith Van Horn verbally after Keith Van Horn came up small in the finals 2 years ago. Right. And then Kenyon Martin came up just as small, going 3 for 23 after a flu game in last year's final. See, Alonzo Mourning doesn't come up with the flu. The kidney ailment is life-threatening, and he risks his life every time he steps out there, which Kenyon Martin wouldn't know about.
There's reason to believe by reasonable men that maybe Alonzo Mourning shouldn't be playing at all.
That's right.
And his numbers certainly indicate that he's nowhere near the way he used to be. But you can't say, oh, my kidney, my kidney. It's life-threatening. You can't do that. Now, I think Jason Kidd, who's the star of that team, has to come up in his own building and say, hey, we can't have this.
Well, Jason Kidd and Byron Scott have to do that. Appears they already have, because you already have Alonzo at least quoted now, reports saying, you know what, people say crazy stuff, we're done with it.
You know, but they all athletes say, we've moved on, turn the page. It doesn't work that way.
Well, it doesn't, but it's not Shaq Kobe. It's not that out of control. Okay. It really isn't.
But it's not good.
No, it's not good. That's not the only noise coming from the NBA boys and girls. Tracy McGrady, responding to observations made by NBA analysts Tim Legler and John Thompson, said any criticism of his defense is unwarranted, that he guards the opponent's best offensive player night after night. Tony, this is the first time in his 7-year career T-Mac's overall performance has been criticized, and it comes in the wake of Doc Rivers being fired. So, Tony, is the criticism justified?
What's the record right now of Orlando?
1-11?
1-11. If he's such a great player, he's got to make the other players good enough to win a few games. This happened to Vince Carter.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You know, it happened to Vince Carter after
making the playoffs and being serenaded as a big star.
And after Tracy McGrady left him as a teammate, and everybody said, oh, Tracy McGrady, he's the one. But Orlando is struggling mightily, and I do think it's justified. I do think it's justified. You can't just be a point machine. Your team has to win, because there's only 5 guys on the court in basketball. It's not like football. And don't you think you have to win?
I think the criticism that is valid of McGrady is that he is a soloist, a brilliant,
fabulous player.
Soloist. But that is why I put him a half rung below Kobe Bryant, because we've seen Kobe facilitate his teammates. We have not seen that as much from McGrady. And I know it's not all his fault. Orlando traded away really good players, and McGrady made it known that was crazy.
I don't think that McGrady got Doc Rivers fired.
No, he didn't.
But I'll tell you this. You know who comes across sweet in this whole thing?
Who?
Doc Rivers. He got Orlando to pay him his full salary, and he signed on within 2 hours
with
ABC.
If they didn't want to pay him, if you don't want to pay him, don't fire him.
Did it work out for Doc?
Worked out well. I'm glad.
We
Smart
are
Chicago boys
with the phony baloney hype of Separation Saturday and Survival Saturday. Get it out of here. This weekend is rivalry weekend. This is legit. The main focus will be on Ohio State at Michigan as they meet for the 100th time, probably the 90th time that a bowl bid of the national title is on the line. What do you think, Wilbon? Ohio State, Michigan, is that the greatest college football rivalry of them all?
Well, rivalry has so much to do with history. I guess I'm going to take Michigan, Ohio State, and I grew up in that part of the country, and I go back with this rivalry to the mid-'60s. I've been watching it that long. However, today, if you can ask me, I got one chance to watch a big rivalry game, Michigan, Ohio State, or Miami, Florida State. I'm taking Miami, Florida State 100 times out of 100 now, right now.
I think anytime all the Florida schools play, if Florida plays Florida State or Florida plays Miami, I think you want to watch that. When I was young,
bigger names,
10,000
better
years
players,
ago,
pro players for certain.
When they had the real wagon trains when I was young, USC, UCLA was a big deal. One year with Gary Beeman and O.J. Simpson, I think it decided the Heisman Trophy. And I remember Oklahoma, Nebraska as being can't-miss TV.
Well, Notre Dame, Southern
that.
Cal had a nice spell, too, where you had some important games and comebacks. But Michigan, Ohio State has decided. Ohio State's been undefeated a couple of times. They rolled into Ann Arbor, thankfully for Northwestern people, because we got to the Rose Bowl that way, and they knocked them off.
You know what I like to see? I don't know if it only happens at Columbus. When the guy dots the I with the Ohio State fan, I like to watch that. Is that only in Columbus?
Tired of that in the Big
Ten.
I
like that. I like that.
It is kind of cool, though. With only 6 weeks left in the NFL's regular season, we can now identify critical games and the first must-win situations. For instance, the losers of Niners-Packers are going to drop below 500. The Saints, in order to stay alive, have to win at Philly. And the Cowboys and Panthers, that's the centerpiece of the week. But if there's any one individual who needs to win, it seems to me, that would be Dave Wanstead, whose Dolphins host the struggling Redskins Sunday night. Tony, I know you're with me on this.
No, I'm not. I'm not, because even if they lose, they'll be 6-5, and they still have a real shot at the playoffs.
Yeah, but it's just them in Denver for that second
I can give you two guys who I think need to win this more.
Who?
One, Bill Parcells, because the Eagles are really hot now, And if the Dallas Cowboys lose, they are in danger of falling out of the playoff race. They could be caught and passed by the St. Louis Rams and other teams. But even more than that, I think John Gruden, now notice I'm not saying Tampa Bay, I think John Gruden has to win. He made the big move. He got rid of Keyshawn Johnson and basically said our problems are Keyshawn Johnson.
But one game doesn't bail Gruden out of this decision. They've got to go on a string of wins to justify Gruden's decision.
But if they lose, all the heat and light is going to land on Gruden.
Well, in that
I
case,
think
how
they
about
need
Fossil,
to win.
who's playing against Gruden, who we both think shouldn't be fired?
But Fossil's going to be fired if they don't make the playoffs. I think it's on Gruden this week. Tomorrow evening in Edmonton, the Edmonton Oilers will play the Montreal Canadiens outdoors in front of 56,000 people. That's right, outdoors. This is the coolest thing the NHL has done in years. Wilbon, you'll be watching it, right?
No. If I was at home, I'd be watching because I got NHL Center Ice on my satellite dish.
Well,
But
I
I'd be
can
in Miami
watch. Can I
covering
watch?
the football game. No, because over the air in the United States of America, unless you live really close to the Canadian border, apparently the game will not be broadcast.
How can that be?
Well, here's how that can be.
This is so cool.
Because the NHL has failed yet again at another opportunity to market the sport. This is really cool, and I think it will bring in casual fans. Do you agree?
I would consider myself a casual fan of the NHL until playoff time. I would make time to watch this, especially since I have heard that the temperature could be as low as -4. I mean, I would hope
that's real hot.
I would hope there'd be 30 inches of snow would fall during the game, and you would see hockey not as it's made in America and delivered to you on Wednesday nights, but hockey as it was meant to be played, hockey as it started out.
You know what? It's not an original. It's a good idea, a really good idea. And Gary Bettman's a smart marketing guy. I don't understand why it's not on, but haven't they done this in college?
Well, they had it in the movie
this.
Mystery Alaska. They had this. They've also got a pregame game with guys like Gretzky and Messi.
Canadian alums versus the Edmonton alums. All of it.
Why wouldn't you watch
I'd watch it.
We're taking a break. When we come back, we will try to talk about USC's prospects for the Sugar Bowl, but it's possible that other matters in Southern California will distract us.
Look at your boy. Look at your boy.
Yeah.
Pardon the interruption. Presented by New Smirnoff Ice Triple Black. Triple filtered for a crisp, clean bite. And in part by Gas.
We are often accused of having an East Coast bias, so we thought we'd spend 5 good minutes talking about USC. But honestly, who cares about that? So we bring in our good friend from L.A., Norman Chad, media critic, syndicated columnist, and former daycare director at Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. Norman, your first reaction when you saw the Michael Jackson mugshot, your first reaction?
I really had no reaction, Tony. You know, what you got to understand is that most entertainers in Hollywood wear heavy makeup for their booking mug because you can then use it as a headshot for your next audition. So Michael didn't do anything out of the ordinary as far as I'm concerned.
Really? Because I thought he looked like Faye Dunaway playing Joan Crawford in Mommy Dearest.
See, you're not used to what we do here on the West Coast. His home is normal, his makeup is normal, and his career arc is normal. It's even better than your all's career arc.
Let me talk about something else that's not normal, okay? I know the phrase, particularly subscribed to on the West Coast, Norman, you can never be too rich or too thin.
Really?
However, 5'11", 120 pounds. How many 45-year-old men have that physique?
Okay, Michael's a friend. I don't want to pile on. But let me just point out to you that people are often critical of the Atkins diet, but it works. It worked very well here. It might have been a modified Atkins diet. I think he might have just been eating the fat off the meat he was cooking. But he got down to 120. He's in good shape.
Norman, that's supermodel weight. Heidi Klum weighs more than that. He's a 45-year-old man at 120.
Heidi Klum does not have to cut the lawn at Neverland Ranch. That is a huge complex. I looked at that property myself, and it was too much space for me. Didn't have good freeway access. I stayed in my own apartment.
So it doesn't freak you out when you look at that mugshot of Michael Jackson?
Again, I live near West Hollywood. I mean, meter maids look like that. The police captain looks like that. You know, it's not Michael's best look, but at this point, everybody's trying to stay in the business, and he's just looking that way.
All right, I'll give you an L.A. question. The Kobe Bryant trial was going to be the hot trial. Has that been blown out of the tub by the Michael Jackson trial?
Well, you know, this is apples and oranges. The difference here, I think, when Kobe comes around, Kobe's in the prime of his career. Michael, well, actually, if these charges were against Jermaine Jackson, who I believe is in the prime of his career, as it were, it would be a much bigger deal. But when Kobe comes around, it will be the bigger deal, at least on the days the Lakers aren't playing.
All right, we're going to try to segue from court to field, football field, Norman. UCLA versus USC. Is there any real interest in Southern California in this game?
In a word, no. I mean, during the week, there's a lot of trash talking, and a lot of people here obviously went to USC and UCLA, but I guarantee you, come tomorrow, you know, people will go, let's go to Sizzler. The Coliseum won't even be sold out at the game, and people will watch it on TV. Who wants to deal with the traffic? This is why TV is a wonderful thing.
Then why do people in LA and Southern California, why do they want a pro football team when they can't even get excited over a game featuring two Los Angeles teams, one of which could play for the national championship?
Okay, the one misnotion you had there, Michael, is that we want a pro football team. There's no overwhelming compulsion to have a pro football team here. People keep writing about it, people keep talking about it, but when the Rams and the Raiders left, life went on, and we really have no interest in having a football team, again, because most of us have television
The
sets.
only thing people in L.A. care about are the helicopter chases, right, Norman? Everybody sits home, watch the helicopter shots on whoever somebody's going after. Isn't that true?
Yeah, it's the lead story, no matter, even if there isn't a crime situation, like we had OJ in '94, and then we were watching that overhead shot of Michael's limo yesterday, they will create them at 4 o'clock on the local news because we turn on the TV expecting them. The other day, I saw a helicopter was following a bicyclist who was on a 2-mile path, and he didn't commit a crime. He wasn't on route to anywhere. They had nothing else to shoot. But we watched it in anticipation that something might happen.
We got a last question here for you because you're such a star and everybody wants to know about your personal life. Have you made a sex tape yet with Paris Hilton?
First of all, I was the key grip on the Paris Hilton sex tape. Great cinematography on that thing, don't you think?
I think it'll win lots of awards, Norman. You'll be up for an Academy, I'm sure. Thank you, Norman. We're taking a break, but when we come back, we'll play a little good cop, bad cop on the idea of signing Keyshawn Johnson.
Are you going to see the Paris Hilton sex tape? Are you going to see it?
I'm going to try. Welcome back to the precinct. I'm Officer Kornheiser. This is Officer Wilbon. Good work with that Jacko collar yesterday, Mike.
10-4.
We're here to play a little good cop, bad cop. Who's the first suspect? It's LSU. Are they going to the Sugar Bowl?
They are going to the Sugar Bowl. You know why? They've only got the one loss, and here's the important thing about the loss. It's an okay loss because they lost to Florida, who you, Officer Kornheiser, have been saying all along, the hottest team. Also, they're hot at the right time, averaging 37 points a game the last 4 games. They are going to the Sugar Bowl.
Here's why I'm playing bad cop on this, because what they've got coming up, they got 3 games left maybe, all against ranked opponents. They got Ole Miss at Ole Miss undefeated in the SEC.
Yeah, they got 2 bad losses on the schedule.
They haven't
2 bad
lost
losses
lately.
early.
Then they got Arkansas. If they beat that team, then they have to go play in the SEC championship. It's too hard a road. I believe that USC, if they win out, since they're ranked higher, they could go. But certainly if Ohio State beats Michigan
Well, Ohio State isn't going to beat Michigan.
You know
How
that?
many times have I told you?
Wait.
Yes.
This is good cop,
I'm taking
bad
plenty
cop.
of payola in the Midwest, and I've been giving out those
This isn't
tickets.
fortune teller. It's good cop, bad cop. What's next? Peyton Manning, is he your MVP?
How could he not be? Without Marvin Harrison and Marcus Pollard, the guy goes for 401 yards passing against your New York Jets. Also, yards passing. What do you think Manning is in the league? First, TD passes. First, completion percentage. First, I rest my case.
Well, that would indicate he's the #1 rated quarterback, but he's not.
The only
the
thing
#1 rated quarterback is who? Steve McNair.
The phony rating. The only thing phonier than that is that New York Times college football computer.
Steve McNair doesn't have the quality running back that Peyton Manning does. Doesn't have the quality wide
James
receiver.
Isn't even there every game. What are you talking
Doesn't
about?
have the best wide receiver like Peyton Manning does. Plus, I could see myself voting for Dante Hall the way he started out this year, giving Kansas City momentum. Stephen Davis, who knew Jake Delhomme was this good? He gave Carolina
First
momentum.
in every category.
Except
Peyton, and his team is 8-2. Passer ratings phony.
What's next? Keyshawn Johnson. Is he a good pickup? You're the good cop.
He's got 603 receptions. He's the second fastest guy to that number. And here's what he does. He goes over the middle and dares to run dangerous routes. He's a big target that other people won't run. He catches the damn ball.
On this show, You have said he's the third best receiver on his former team, Tampa Bay. He told Dave Anderson in the New York Times a few years back, I got to be the number one guy, not number two or number three. If I'm not the number one guy, you don't want
like
me.
a guy who wants to be the number one guy?
Is he the number one guy right now? No, he is not.
But that doesn't mean I wouldn't pick him up. The question is he a good pickup? And the answer is yes.
But also, and he may be a good pickup, but why I play bad cop is he's had feuds with people everywhere he's gone. Now, at some point, you wear out your welcome. People are afraid to take you. Shouldn't they be a little afraid?
Third time's a charm.
Little afraid. Really?
Third time's a charm.
What's next? The Connecticut Huskies, are you okay that they are number one and the favorites to win it all?
They have to be number one. They've got the best 1-2 punch in all of college basketball with Emeka Okafor and Ben Gordon. And more importantly, Emeka Okafor, Tony, is the best player in college basketball. And they've got a coach who's won a championship, who knows how to get a team playing with momentum toward February into March. Yes, they're the number one team.
And here's why I'm the bad cop. And everything you say is right. Do you know the last time the number one preseason team actually won the whole thing in March?
Yes, because I'm a good cop.
1996 with Kentucky. That's
Tubby's Kentucky Wildcats.
No, it was not.
Oh, that was Ricky Pitino's Wildcats?
It was Rick Pitino's.
All right.
It's a long time since then. Here's what happens. It's a single elimination tournament down the road. All you need is a couple of guys to get hot. Guys you didn't hear of early in the season, like, say, Carmelo Anthony and Jerry McNamara. And then you're going home on a bus because you've just lost. It's too risky. It's not going to happen.
Okafor and Gordon are going to win.
What's next? The President's Cup. You be the good cop.
How can you possibly be the bad cop on the President's Cup? You know what's cool about the President's Cup? You got Aussies, you got South Africans, you got a Fijian, you got a New Zealander, you got a Canadian. Yeah. It's truly a world event. It is, unlike other events, inclusive of everyone.
Here's what I'm going to say as the bad cop. I'm not going to be the bad cop. And you know why?
Why?
Because my friend George Berger is the chairman of the President's Cup when it returns to the United States.
And how do you get to play Robert Trent Jones?
It's played at RTJ, God's own course, and that's how I get on. Now, I will say this. I like the President's Cup a lot. I don't think it is the Ryder Cup, because the Ryder Cup has the great tradition of 100 years so far.
It has history.
He's got that.
But don't you love the President's Cup? Watching the people from around the world play against the United States?
Well, I like that, and I like watching people from around Europe play against the United States in a Ryder Cup.
Europe is as big as it's set. I'm talking about the world here.
I understand that. But again, the magic words, George Berger, RTJ. That's how I get on. That's the blotter for today. Keep your nose clean, kids, or it may fall off like jackals. Time for a break, but don't go anywhere, because we still got to talk about Michael Strahan, Steve Spurrier, and the Horn Frogs from TCU, who went down 31-6 in the third quarter.
But they came back.
But they didn't come back enough.
Came back, showed heart.
Didn't win.
Ask Corso.
Pardon the interruption. Presented by New Smirnoff Ice Triple Black. Triple filtered for a crisp, clean bite. And in part by 10-10-9-8-7. Give it a try.
Happy time, people. Happy 32nd birthday to Michael Strahan. I don't know, Wilbon. Strahan was supposed to be 5 good minutes today. He stiffed us. We had to go to Norman Chad in a pinch. Wilbon, should we let Strahan back on this show?
Well, I think he was probably out trying to save your boy Fossil's job, so he had a little bit of emergency duty today. Or he could have been taping his own deal with Sapp. You know, he and Sapp have a show now.
He stiffed us.
He'll come back.
He stiffed us.
We'll get him back.
Happy anniversary, Steve Spurrier. 37 years ago tomorrow, you won the Heisman Trophy as the best player in college football. Never had the same success at the pro level. Though I don't know that I want to go there. Spurrier won at Duke, won at Tampa Bay in the USFL, won at Florida. At least I'm hoping he wins with the Redskins.
Yeah, well, he better win this big game Sunday for your boys. Sunday night at Miami. Is he going to win?
Beat Wani? Happy trails, TCU. You're out of BCS consideration. A nation rooted for you, and you blew it, losing to Southern Miss 40-28. You let us all down. You've surely broken Dan Jenkins' heart. We hope you're happy.
They didn't let anybody down. Southern Miss was playing at home. They're a better team. They play big-time teams all the time. Stop it with blaming TCU.
I took the points they didn't cover, trying to find out what we messed up. Wait. Look at you. What, you just come from the Voodoo Lounge?
Yeah, me, Frank, and Dino, right? You talked about big rivalries, guys. How about Ohio State, Michigan, of course. The jewel shillelagh is USC, Notre Dame, Army, Navy. Come on.
How about Penn Cornell?
No. How about no? How about no?
All right. They have another Ivy League kid
Here's the quote from Kornheiser. I'm just a casual fan of the NHL until playoff time, where I take my shirt off, get my face painted, and go to games and stands. Is that what you do?
I've been to at least 5 games. Running out of show. Here we go, the big finish.
Let's do it.
WGN says the Bulls will deal Jalen Rose to the Raptors. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that team needs a big-time shakeup now. The Mariners shot down the Red Sox request to talk with their manager, Bob Melvin. Your thoughts?
Of course they did. Melvin won 93 games for Seattle last year. The Yankees won't go after Vlad Guerrero because he's too expensive?
That's a smokescreen. That's a lie. That's too expensive. There's another reason your boy doesn't want him.
Why wouldn't they want him?
The Mets exec who got fired for racial insensitivity is blaming it on, get this, a chemical imbalance from the Atkins diet. Are you buying that junk?
Let me just say this. If that works for this guy, it's going to work for everybody. Everybody's going on Atkins.
It's not going to work for him either. That's insane.
Last one. You ready?
Yeah.
5'11", 120. Huh?
30 pounds less than Muggsy Bogues.
When was the last time you weighed 120?
I was 7.
We're out of time. Try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
And I'm Mike Wilbon. Have a great weekend.